The world of animation has been dominated by computer-generated graphics in recent years, but box office success has not completely wiped out traditional analog techniques. The pendulum is swinging, and the human qualities found in handmade animation are now coveted by festival goers and commercial creatives who find computer-generated imagery clinical and derivative. We travel to the Czech Republic, the Netherlands, and southern England in search of animators who think outside the computer box. Dutch artist Vera van Wolferen translates her childhood memories into curious visual stories. She sets them in cardboard miniatures of 19th century mansions in The Hague, and this form of naive architectural storytelling has won her international recognition that has led to prestigious exhibitions and commissions.
The Hague was flourishing, and the houses were like a way of showing wealth. So they are very beautiful, but it's a very eclectic style with all the windows and little towers, and especially towers. Every day when I bike from my studio to my house, I see all these houses and I look at just how all the details there are, and then I take them to my own sculptures and somehow recreate them.
To bring the intricate miniatures to life just for a few seconds, Van Wolferen spends days perfecting stop-motion sequences in her unassuming studio where the most precious tools are her hands.
I really have a handmade approach. I also see things in 3D, so I have to build them directly. Maybe some people sketch first and then build after it, but I really think in 3D, so everything I do, I have to try it with my hands. I can't imagine working in another way.
The Czech Republic has always had a rich culture of animation, and now a new generation are exploring the medium in a different way. Lucie Sunková was classically trained by Bretislav Poyer, one of the legends of Czech puppetry. Building on this traditional foundation, she then broke away from the national style to find her own technique of paint on glass. Her inspiration came from a VHS tape that crossed the border into the Czech Republic after the Velvet Revolution.
This technique has a very special feeling of visual and is very, very good for my stories. I use very often metaphors. Atmospheres are important in my films, and this style of movement of paint on glass is very good for this style of speaking.
Creating 1 second of film involves repainting a scene 24 times to achieve a fluent movement. Lucie Sunková's labour-intensive labours of love win worldwide accolades, though financing handmade animation such as hers is a constant struggle.
Short films, mainly in Czech Republic, has a big problem with audience because there is not possibility to show short films in cinemas. So our short films are only for festivals, for a small group of people. And it's a pity, I think, because this form is very good for animation, and it's a platform for experiment and to get experience with animation.
Britain has its own unique mix of animation talent, and Daisy Jacobs is one of the new generation animators turning her back on computer techniques. Her whimsical retro style has earned her a BAFTA award and Oscar nomination for her graduation film, The Bigger Picture, in 2015. Jacobs studied illustration at Central St Martin's School of Art in London, then continued with a postgraduate course in character animation to develop her distinctive style of emotive storytelling.
I had the time to really work on my own sense of style, I suppose. How I draw, how I interpret the world through images. And I think something about that helped when I then came to animation, because I wasn't just focusing on the technique.
Production for Jacobs' new film, The Full Story, is at a naval base in her hometown of Gosport, fittingly large for her life-size sets. She'll spend a year in the warehouse working with just one assistant, Chris Wilder. Her films combine vintage props from her grandparents' house, papier-mâché models, and beautifully painted sets. It's this labour-intensive dedication to craft that resonates in her storytelling.
It's something to do with seeing the creator in the work, you can see how difficult it is. It's almost like you see the process, you see the pain of it, there's a rawness to it, a sort of desperation, and that reminds you that this has been made by someone, which I think that's really why we like things that are handmade.
Imaginative renderings and heartfelt smudges seem to have currency these days. For devotees, animated magic comes not from technological innovation, but from original thought and the touch of the human hand. From Monocle, I'm Gillian Tobias.